Hello, welcome back to the channel. So this is me going to talk a bit about bolt action. And my learning points I had fielding the 8th Army over the course of a year, which was a slow grow tournament. Now I don't have the army lists to hand, but this is kind of what I remember the armies fielding. So straight away, 500 points to start with. The British are almost playing on easy mode because you get your free artillery observer. More on him in a wee bit. But 500 points isn't a lot to play around with, but when we were learning the game, it was a good set of points to kind of learn the game and embed key concepts in. And it was it was really interesting learning experience. When I first started off this army, as you can see, I built it around 2 10-man squads, all armed with rifles, a sniper, 90 tank gun, because I thought there might be some light armour, inexperienced second lieutenant. Don't know why armies in World War II fielded so many inexperienced officers, but there you go, my free artillery observer. Now this was a squad of veterans. Now, I can't remember if they would start off with the 2 Bren guns in there, or if there was one squad of veterans. So the idea was that's like a, if you look, I've used different heads because the Warlord kits come with sort of an 8th Army set of heads, mainly helmets, and a sort of a Commonwealth set. So it's a way to use all these different heads and do some different squads. So maybe it's a veteran SAS, or maybe it's just a remnant squad. 25 pounder Bren carriers. Now one of these is a recce carrier and one of them's a regular carrier. So rifle squads. The special national characteristics I chose was the accurate rifle fire. Now if I show something out right now in terms of why I chose that. So first one was, I reckon the squads have left the Bren guns on the Bren carriers. Now they're all armed with rifles, so with the rifle shots you're going to get 10 rifles. Okay, then for every 3 rifles you get an extra dice, so I'm getting 13 dice, which isn't a bad round of shooting, especially since I consider myself lucky with the dice rolls. Now if I'd have taken our LMG, not only is it 20 more points, and between 2 squads that's 40 points, which is almost the cost of a recce carrier. So if I've got that, so there's 2 less rifle shots, so the loader and the guy with the Bren gun, and I'm putting that there. So actually I've got 12 shots rather than the 13 I was getting with the rifles. And this squad here, this is a squad with 2 Bren guns, so they were going to, the idea behind the army was they're going to encamp somewhere, lay down support and fire while the 2 rifle squads can get forward and do what they want to do. Worked fine for the 500 point games, but what I found was I was lacking a bit of range punch for these squads. So when we go up to 750, I'm not going to get everything out, but when we go up to 750 I swapped these squads around and added the LMG to it, the Bren guns, because I just felt I needed that just wee bit extra reach. Because if you think I've got 24-inch range with my bolt action rifle, if I move 6 inches, theoretically I've got 30-inch range for shooting that turn, but with our LMG firing to 36 I've got the extra 6 inches, 42-inch range. So there's times when I have my rifle squad in buildings holding objectives, and like I say, I just felt I needed that extra range. So the anti-tank gun didn't come into use much, not a lot of armour at 500 points, especially light armour. So I joked that he was my ancillary sniper, and even though he was still hitting most things on 5s or 6s, by the time you add in all the modifiers, he still did a few things like kill artillery observers and stuff. So yeah, much kudos to them. This squad was a solid squad, just hunkering down, laying down support and fire, and I kept a version of that throughout my 750 points. When I did 1,000 points, I actually changed armies and started using the Soviet army. I'd learned some stuff in my 750 point games which I wanted to try and replicate on the tabletop. This 25 pounder is a kind of a must-have for British forces because it's got a dual fire mode. It can fire as a howitzer when you want to take out infantry, or an anti-tank gun. So what this reformation's given me is 2 options for anti-tank if it was required. The Soviets have a similar thing, which is an anti-tank gun that can fire as a howitzer. Yeah, anything like that, we get dual use out of it. It's well worth the points, if you're asking me. Let's move this up a bit. Now, the Bren carriers, so one is a transport, one is a recce character. The recce one has got inbuilt crew, 2 Bren guns, it can always fire its Bren guns. It's got no transport capacity. This is a mobile gun platform throwing out 8 dice. It's cheap as chips, well, 65 plus 20, about 80, 85 points. And recce, the amount of times an opponent forgot it was recce and it fired Panzerfaust or something at it and it just scooted behind a building and hid away, was money in the bag. Now, this fella here, it's got its 2, this was just a transport option, but I bought the 2 Bren guns for it. Now, when there's no troops transporting in it, it can only fire 1 Bren gun. As we can see, the only real squad that can be transported in that is these guys, and I want them out with their 2 Bren guns. These squads can't fit into a Bren carrier. Bren carrier's got troop capacity of, I think it's 5 or 6. So why buy the 2 Bren guns? Well, the idea is, once he's finished his barrage, he's going to jump in. Suddenly this Bren carrier has got 2 Bren guns that can fire out of it. So that was my 500 points. When we moved into the 750 round, what I wanted to do was throw some tanks in. And I'd been reading Desert Warfare books, and we put my Stuart in. And actually, some of the battle reports, after action reports from the desert, I just love the idea of Stuarts. And I know they're pretty competitive in bot action at the moment. So one of my opponents was like, oh, you've picked that version of Stuart. You know you could have one with all the machine guns. I was like, yeah, I could, but that's the one I want. The British in the desert, didn't put in machine guns on things. So for example, taking Matilda, I've not used my Matilda in the battle. And I don't think I ever will, because it's only got 1 machine gun and 1 sort of light tank gun. If I'd had maybe another couple of machine guns on it, I'd consider it. Because bot action is primarily an infantry game. But yeah, so my opponent very graciously actually sent me the FAQ, which I'd already seen, saying that I could take the one with the 5 machine guns. But no, three sufficed. So I added this. I added Bren guns to my squads, like I was saying earlier, to give them a bit of reach. I can't remember how else I spent my points. That's about 160, 170, 90. So I wouldn't have had that many points left over to add stuff to it. You'll notice I don't have a mortar. And the thing about the mortar is I couldn't find my mortar. And a machine gun. I couldn't find a machine gun. I know, excuse me, I know machine guns, there's a debate are they worth their points or not in bolt action. So no mortar, no machine gun. I think I might have spent my points on some extra troops and monkeyed around with the squad sizes, so get three maneuver squads, a firepower squad. Although I had the option of a 3rd Bren carrier, I don't think I took it. The 2 armies I fought at 750 points taught me so much about bot action. One of them was a Belgian army with veterans in transports that came up to attack. Extra guns, so they've got the free gun. I'd never really seen troops disembark to assault in bolt action, and the 2 guns were pretty powerful. So in 1,000 points, I used a dual Soviet list, a dual platoon Soviet list with 2 of the ZIS-3s, which can dual fire just like this fella, and a couple of trucks, bought a couple of trucks to disembark assault veterans. Even brought some cavalry along, which charged in on the first charge, didn't hit anything and got wiped out. But yes, enough said about that, the better. So yeah, so just because this is showing off the army, not just talking about what I learned. And you see you've got a load of different variety of heads there from the different kits. So that becomes, like I say, a group of remnants or kind of SAS specialists as I want to take them. Got more riflemen. more troops for the ground. So I'm just going to focus a bit on these. So you can see Australian hats, Scottish bonnets, sort of the Arab headdress there. I give a load of South African heads to somebody in the club who's doing a South African army, which looks really cool. More riflemen. So yeah, so I really enjoyed using the Desert Forces. I'm working through an Afrika Korps force at the moment, and Italians, a slow grow Italian force as well, and obviously the Indians. And I'm doing exactly the same in 15mm as well, because I'm incorrigible and I don't need too much efforts. But there's my learning points on how I sort of built up an army, used an army. And you know what, if you're wanting to learn an army, I think that's the best way to do it, rather than maybe throwing in straight away to 1,000 points, playing some smaller level games. And actually the smaller level games were as enjoyable as the bigger point games. Bigger point games obviously filled in a bit more time, took a bit longer, but yes, 500 point bolt action, 750 point bolt action makes you think about some stuff and what you're going to put in your force and how it's going to work for your force. But anyway, I'm starting to waffle now, so that must be time to finish. So I hope you're having a great hobby time there. Hope you learned some stuff, and give us a shout, let us know how it's going on, and I'll look forward to seeing you again. Goodbye.